What a massive embarrassment this is for the BCCI. Chetan Sharma has had to quit after being caught in a television sting. Now, his resignation has been accepted by BCCI Secretary Niranjan Shah. Chetan Sharma's position essentially had become untenable after the sting operation this week by a private news channel. The sting operation had showed Mr. Sharma dishing out details about stars like Virat Kohli and Jasprit Bumrah and their relations with the BCCI. Sharma said Kohli blamed Sourav Ganguly for ousting him from the captaincy. Ganguly was the BCCI president when Kohli decided to step down from captaincy in all three formats. Sharma also claimed that Kohli deliberately tried to put Ganguly under the bus by saying that he wasn't informed about the change of guard. In effect, Sharma said that Kohli was lying and that Ganguly didn't like him. He also revealed details about how some Indian cricketers use injections that cannot be detected by doping agencies. Though some of these revelations were common knowledge to cricket fans, hearing it from the chairman of the BCCI, the chairman of selectors of the BCCI, was actually huge. It was bound to have consequences, and it has. The BCCI did not release a statement then, but days later, Chetan Sharma has quit on his own accord. Like I said, his position had become simply untenable. BCCI sources are telling us that Mr. Sharma's replacement will be selected after thorough deliberation. Plus, nobody from the existing board is likely to be elevated. The BCCI, if you remember, had completely scrapped the board of selectors after India's exit from the T20 World Cup last year. But surprisingly, Chetan Sharma was retained as the chairman of the newly constituted board. His stint as chief selector lasted for almost 3 years. Let me go across to Karishma, who is joining us live on the story. Karishma, I remember speaking to you 48 hours earlier, and the word coming in from the BCCI, an official word has still not come from the BCCI, just by the way, on the sting operation. But you had spoken to your sources within the BCCI, and they had told you, we are in the middle of a series. We simply cannot afford to ask Mr. Sharma to quit now or resign now. What happened? What changed?
Well, yes, Shreya, and the BCCI maintaining that they haven't asked Chetan Sharma to resign. It is of his own accord that he sent his resignation to the BCCI Secretary, Mr. Niranjan Shah. And since he sent his resignation, it was accepted with immediate effect. What the BCCI would have possibly done was issue him a show-cause notice, ask him to explain himself as to how exactly, happened, what has happened, the sting operation, what he said, the loose talk he indulged in. But Chetan Sharma not waiting for any of that and sending his resignation last night, and Niranjan Shah accepting that resignation because Chetan Sharma understood the consequences of what he had done. Even if he would have saved himself from the BCCI management, if a question was asked to Rohit Sharma or Hardik Pandya, who are the captain of India in separate formats, as to whether they would be comfortable sitting across from a table with Chetan Sharma and discussing selection matters and the future of Indian players, they wouldn't have been comfortable. And that is one reason why Chetan Sharma decided to resign, because it would have become difficult to gain that trust back from the players. They wouldn't have been comfortable discussing these matters, and the breach of the trust is the main reason why Chetan Sharma resigned. BCCI not making any official comments even up until now. The next comment that is going to come from BCCI is going to be how a new chief selector is going to be appointed, Shreya.
Okay, Karishma, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us. Nikhil Sharma is a sports commentator joining us on the broadcast. Niranjan Shah is former secretary BCCI, and V Jaishankar is a sports journalist. Thank you all three for joining us. Nikhil Sharma, maybe I should come to you. Do you actually believe that Mr. Chetan Sharma wasn't asked to go and he resigned on his own accord? His position had become untenable.
Allow me, this is the first time I'm speaking about this incident. If you really ask me, it doesn't even feel like a sting operation. If you really look at the details, and I've kind of, had a look at what happened. You go to the chief selector, you say, sir, we are off record. None of this will be on record. We are only asking you for some details. Why don't you give it to us? And your name will not appear anywhere. If you're a senior journalist, and of course, who better than you to know that, You record that. I think some of the things that he said are common knowledge. It's not exceptional, information that he's given. Unfortunately, he's been caught in the web where it looks like such a huge deal. Some of the things he spoke about was Jasprit Bumrah. He spoke about how Sourav Ganguly and possibly, Virat Kohli don't get along. He spoke about how no player is ever bigger than the sport itself. He said, Sourav has been a big captain. Virat has been a big captain. If you really look at some of those details, they're common knowledge. I mean, we've been talking about all of these incidents while they were happening. Unfortunately, as things stand, somebody is kind of believed that this is a sting operation worthy of being put out. Yes, it does create a lot of controversy, but I feel a little bit for Mr. Sharma. I feel that he's gotten caught in this web, and now he has no option because it's blown into such huge proportions that he has no other option but to say, hang on, maybe I've got to go. And he was anyway on an extension, when the entire board of selectors were changed. He was the only one who was given an extension, and that possibly would have been only till a new chairman would have been found. So, that extra lease of life or extension to his job seems to have been cut short by this incident. Not the most ideal. I mean, I don't know what you make of whether to make of this sting operation really as a sting operation per se.
I'm not a great fan. I'm not a great fan of sting operations in any case. I don't think good journalism requires a sting operation unless you're trying to save the country, unless it is in national interest. I just don't approve of it. I think it's unethical, just by the way. But then, well, to each their own. If a private channel decides to do it, they decide to do it. But for me, all right, you're telling us that what Chetan Sharma has said on record in that sting operation is something that was common knowledge. To someone who doesn't track cricket very closely, Mr. Niranjan Shah, the impression I get is Indian cricket run on the whims and fancies of individuals? That Ganguly doesn't like Virat, therefore Virat will not be captain. Is this how things run? Because that is the impression that is coming out, sir.
No, I don't think so. Everything is done very systematically. But after all, they are all different personality, and there is always a clash between personality. It happens even in any mode of life, any sports, everything, it happens. So it does not mean you have to, even Chetan Sharma must be knowing many things, but it does not mean he was a responsible chairman of selection committee. He has to be very careful what he speaks. So he has to be very careful, and it is better that without any fuss, he has just given his resignation, and then matter will rest easily.
Well, the matter may or may not rest easily, Mr. Niranjan Shah. But the question I had asked you was this. As I said, the impression that one gets is that the BCCI doesn't run like a professional body. It runs like, a private enterprise where if I like you, you get selected, you get to be captain. If I don't like you, well, then good luck, bye-bye. That's the impression I get.
If you have that impression, then we could not have been word bitter. All the players are selected on their merits, and that 5 selectors decide all these things. I don't think we have achieved a great things in cricket. So I think this thing, small thing will happen. If one person does not like second person, that is a different matter. But when he is already a chief selector, he has to be careful. Afterward, you can write books and everything. There are so many controversy comes in the books, but it does not mean you have to, at the moment when series is going on and everything going on, it's best that things are rest without any fuss. No so-called notice, no these. It is better. And I think he has given his resignation on his own is much better.
But as I said, did he have a choice? He obviously didn't have a choice given this sort of embarrassment, Vedam. that he's put the BCCI through. I want to ask you, okay, I understand what is being said here. I understand that there was an ego battle between Virat Kohli and Sourav Ganguly. It is something that the entire world knew. Nikhil Sharma is telling us that the whole world knew about it. But what does it tell you about the state of Indian cricket and the way Indian cricket is run, Vedam? The entire controversy and the contents of this conversation of Mr. Chetan Sharma that has come out. That question was for Vedam, sir.
To start with, yes, this does not look like a sting. If you look at the question answers and the way clarifications are given, I don't think it was a sting at all. That's to start with. But secondly, let's look at it. What is this BCCI organization that has put into place somebody like Chetan Sharma? We also see, if you're holding the post of a chairman of the selection committee, you need to be some sort of a management type. You can't be a loose-mouth character and then say that, yeah, he is a chairman. Now, if you look at the past chairmen or the past selectors that we've had, we had people like, Vengsarkar, G.R. Vishwanath, M.L. Jaisimha, all big names, Bishan Singh Bedi. But, you look at the current selection committee, there are two guys who have played just one test each. Another guy has not played any test, and you can easily blame Lodha for it. But I think a lot of blame should also fall on the BCCI. And what Niranjan Shah is saying is not true. Because if you look at it, how was Azharuddin selected? How was Sachin Tendulkar sacked from captaincy? These are all on whims and fancies. It's not that there was any system. If you wanted to have a system, okay, let's look at even this current situation where Kohli was replaced. If Kohli had to be replaced, let's for argument's sake accept that he had to be replaced. What would you do in any organization? You would replace him with a youngster who can carry the team forward, who could carry. You would not replace him with a player who is older than him. So it's just whims and fancies. It's not, there is no system really. And if anybody says that there's a system, I mean, they're not being honest at all.
Would you agree with that? Would you, Mr. Shah, would you agree with that? Because Vedam is disagreeing directly with you. You are trying to portray that the BCCI is a very professionally run place where everyone is selected on merit, etc. He's saying not really. That's not how it works.
See, it is very professionally run, and every 5 years, 3 years now, the selectors change. It's not a permanent post. So everything is run by, and now at Lodha committee, there are so many restrictions to select from the very big cricketer also, because the age limit comes, this comes, that comes.
Okay.
So I think whatever at the moment BCCI is doing is the right thing. They have right selectors. But see, the individual
How
has
did
their own
Mohinder Amarnath
responsibility.
get replaced? Mohinder Amarnath, the chairman of the selection committee, he wanted to remove Dhoni. Instead, he was removed. I mean, there's no 5 years or 4 years.
It was not removed. There is always a time when somebody has to go and somebody else come. This is how go on. The new team is formed.
Okay.
So same thing is happening at, you see, Saurashtra Cricket
Mr. Niranjan
Association.
Shah.
It takes time. He one by one replace everybody. And now you can see the result of our Saurashtra Cricket Association also. So I think board is doing.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Nikhil, I can give you 10 seconds. My initial question, all right, Mr. Shah, my only question in these last 8 minutes has been, is Indian cricket run on whims and fancies of individuals? That there are ego battles at play which influence ultimately who gets dropped, who gets selected, who becomes captain, who doesn't become captain?
Is the question to me, Shreya?
Yeah,
yes, Nikhil, I have 10 seconds.
You, please.
All right. The 10 seconds, the answer is a slightly tough one. It's yes and no. Yes, because, most people who occupy that position have been, are big people, are powerful people. It's a no, because, Indian cricket attracts a lot of attention from the media and the fans. So any decision that's not justifiable to the people, to the media, is very tough to take. So it is a very fine balance. I do believe that sometimes it's whims and fancies, but at most times they have to take a calculated decision, because if it doesn't go right, people are always going to come back to you and blame you. And, so it's always a tightrope to walk.
And there's too much money at stake.
Too much money.
There's too much money at stake as well.
Yes.
We'll leave it there. Nikhil, good to have you on the show. Niranjan Shah ji, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Vedam, 10 seconds. I have another story coming out in 10 seconds.
If you look at the
Vedam.
way Sourav Ganguly was made president, what is the system there? There was no system. That's what Whims and fancies. He went and met somebody, and then
Then how-
somebody moved out. He
You
was
tell
not
me
even supposed to be
what
made the
way we have to
president.
select.
So this is the kind of ad hocism that BCCI throughout has been. And Sourav Ganguly should have actually gone through the committee. He should have stayed 1 or 2 years in the committee, learned the workings of it, and brought a lot more maturity in it. That's not what he did. Everything was run on. He decided that he'll have a pink ball test in Calcutta and went ahead and had it. We don't even have a system going. And we're kidding ourselves that we have a system. We have absolutely no system. Every bit of it is ad hocism and live for the day, do for the day. There's nothing, no planning, no nothing.
Okay, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. This has been an interesting and enlightening chat, gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed.